everyone, and thank you for joining me today. So today I think this will be the last video on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial coverage, and I will be touching quite a few points which I didn't manage to touch so far, but I really thought that these were quite important. So this video is going to be a mix of Whitney Henriquez and also the ACLU donation and a couple of other things that I found online during my research. But before we get started, just a quick shout out to Patricia Burns. Yay! You wanted me to translate skyscraper. Skyscraper? I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing this right, and I'm trying here to give translation lessons, go figure. But anyway, Patricia Burns, thank you so much for the suggestion. So, the way you translate skyscraper in Romanian is zgârie nori. Zgârie nori. Zgârie nori. This is what skyscraper means in Romanian. Zgârie nori. Now this word is very interesting in Romanian because if you would translate the word literally, it would actually mean zgârie is like scratching and nori is like clouds. However, skyscraper is zgârie nori. I hope this wasn't too confusing for you guys. Well done for trying to say the word with me, and now let's carry on. But before we do get started, just a quick disclaimer, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone I talk about in the video. This is for educational purposes only, and all the information I'm giving you is already out there in the public domain. And apart from that, I will also give you my own opinion and views around what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. First, before I get into the Whitney Henriquez testimony, I just wanted to talk a bit in depth about the ACLU donation and what I found in the court documents. If you guys are not aware, the court documents, they are actually available publicly for everyone to see. They are very well organized from Johnny Depp's side and from Amber Heard's side. They are organized by date. I guess this was to make the jurors' job easier as well, in case they want to go back and look into the evidence. So I actually went on the court documents on the website and I looked into the ACLU donation, okay, because the ACLU donation and the lies that Amber was saying about the donation, you know, it's kind of a big thing, right? So what I want to do, I want to show you on the screen the ACLU donation and exactly the agreement that Amber Heard had with the ACLU. So we can see here the pledge form, like Amber was saying that for her pledge and donation mean the same thing, but obviously it's not the same thing. This is just a pledge. The pledge is made for $3,500,000, and if you pay attention to this pledge is to be fulfilled over a period of 10 years. So 10 years, that was the agreement. And the first payment was to be done on in 2016, on 19th of August 2016. Now what is interesting here at the bottom of this document, what I found really interesting, and it's worth pointing out, you know, you see the star at the bottom with the extra notes on there. It says the ACLU will recognize your total commitment in campaign publications unless you choose to remain anonymous or indicate another amount for which you would like to be recognized. For gift recognition purposes, please list me or us as follows. And you can clearly see here that Amber Heard's name is down there. So clearly she wanted recognition for her making these donations or the pledges for the donations, and that's why she got her name down there. She could have done it anonymously if she would be so kind-hearted as to just, you know, donate without getting any recognition for it. I would assume that she wouldn't put her name down, right? Now, the most important thing of this pledge agreement is the schedule. This is very important, and please pay attention to this. So the schedule is, I commit to the following payment schedule for my gift to the ACLU campaign. You see here clearly the payment schedule is to be done annually. The first payment was by August 2016. the amount of which was $350,000. Then we jump to the following year, 2017, for another $350,000. Then in 2018, another $350,000. Then we move down to 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So guys, quite honestly, this was a pledge to be made in installments once a year for 10 years, once a year for $350,000. Which is very telling, if I'm honest with you, because even when Amber Heard took the stand and she was on the stand, she said on the stand that she couldn't make the payments, the donations, because Johnny Depp sued her, and so she needs the money for the lawyer fees, right? That's what she said. And even Elaine was mentioning something to the likes of Amber having to pay $6 million in lawyer fees, which again, it's so very close to the $7 million that she got out of the divorce and the $7 million that she was supposed to be donating to ACLU and the Children's Hospital. And it kind of goes to show that, you know, they put up this figure just to kind of justify the reason why Amber didn't really make these donations, because she needed the money for lawyer fees, right? Again, I'm not saying that in celebrities lawyer fees are cheap, because I think we all know by now that lawyer fees are not cheap, because everybody would take advantage, all the professionals would take advantage of a high profile case, and obviously they would you know, increase their rates accordingly. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprising in a way to say that okay, it was $6 million. However, it comes at the wrong time when Amber argues on the stand that pledge and donation is the same thing. Then obviously Camille Vasquez is saying it's not the same thing. We all know it's not the same thing. So again, the timing is a coincidence, right? And to me the timing, it kind of feels like a justification, if you will. So now we know that those installments were meant to be paid over a 10 years period at $350,000 a year, right? So again, it doesn't align with the story that Amber Heard gave on the stand, because she said she can't afford it due to Johnny suing her. However, this is $350,000 that she pledged yearly. She didn't pledge this amount all at once. She pledged it yearly. So even more so, she would have had enough money to pay off the installments yearly, right? Now let's go to the last page of this agreement, let's say. And again, this is another very telling thing in my opinion. So it says here, in recognition of your generous support, we would be honored to list you among our leading supporters in select ACLU publications, such as our annual report. We will recognize your total ACLU giving in 2016 and list you as Amber Heard. If you would like to change this listing, please contact Samantha Jaxer. Thank you for supporting the critical work of the ACLU. So again, you can see that they will be naming her in all of their publications because of the generosity of the donation. And again, they give her the choice that if she wants to, she doesn't need to have her name out there. However, I think that Amber was trying to use this as publicity as well, which again goes back to showing that she's hungry for fame and publicity and being always in the media for some reason or another. So please do let me know, what do you guys think in the comment section down below. Did you know that actually this pledge, this ACLU pledge, was done in installments, the agreement, and it was supposed to stretch out over a period of 10 years? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And now I want to move on to the next point that I want to make. There is a lot of information out there on social media, and more specifically I would say on TikTok. I think that the first source I found was on TikTok, and this is, oh my god, I was just speechless when I have seen the first clip on TikTok about this. Do you guys remember the ice cream photo of Johnny? Amber took the ice cream, Amber took the photo alleging that Johnny Depp was passed out and he spilled the ice cream on himself. Right, the exact same photo is part of the evidence in the trial, and of course it was already put in as evidence during the trial, shown so many times over and over again. And if you pay attention to the bottom left of the photo, I will circle it for you so you can see it better. Do you see what's down there in the corner? It's the bruise kit that Amber Heard said she used to conceal all the bruises and injuries Johnny Depp gave her to her face throughout the course of their relationship. The bruise kit, guys, it's in the photo which was submitted into court as evidence. Now, nobody pointed this out in court, and I'm not sure, perhaps they didn't notice that's on there. However, it's very interesting to see that in the bottom corner on the left, you can see a bruise kit which is very, very similar, if not the same, as the bruise kit we kept on talking about, and how that exact same bruise kit is the one which you use to create bruises and not to cover and conceal bruises. So again, like I said, this wasn't mentioned in the trial as far as I'm aware. Perhaps nobody noticed this, and I'm not sure if whoever was the first one to notice this in the photo sent it to Johnny Depp's side, because they didn't mention it unless they sent it a bit too late, and there was no way that they could, you know, kind of insert this into the trial in some way. But yes, this just goes to show that she did have a bruise kit on hand and was even on display on the table, right? Which is just, it's disgusting, guys. It's disgusting, honestly. I'm not gonna say anything else apart from that. Apart from the bruise kit, as far as I'm aware, do you guys remember that Camille Vasquez, she pointed out in the photo of the bed that allegedly Johnny damaged with his boot, according to Amber, that there is something in that photo on the bed which looks like a pocket knife. Now, having watched a lot of YouTube videos, including Emily D. Baker, who is a lawyer who's been covering this case, and many other professionals who were covering this case, it turns out that someone, either a YouTuber, contacted Camille Vasquez or Johnny Depp's team to let them know about the knife in the bed, or it was someone from Johnny Depp's team who actually went on YouTube and they've seen this video. This original video is from a guy who is a lumber, I think, but he's also a lawyer, so he's kind of, you know, mixing his hobby with the law. So he was the one who first demonstrated just the exact cut that the bed would look like, the bed frame would look like if you would use a pen knife. And I'm gonna tell you guys that the damage to the bed would look exactly like the one that is shown in evidence in court.
Hey guys, welcome to Law and Lumber. My name is Rob Morton. I'm an attorney in Northern Virginia, practicing in the areas of domestic relations litigation and consumer bankruptcy matters. I also have a secondary passion in woodworking and custom furniture building, as you can probably tell from the shop where I'm coming at you from. So today I want to talk about one specific claim that Amber's made in connection with the incident that she alleges occurred at Johnny Depp's Los Angeles penthouse condo on December 15th of 2015. Amber alleges that she and Depp were fighting and that Depp dragged her by her hair through the apartment and eventually ended up headbutting her. Amber, at that point, told Depp she was leaving him and turned away. She then alleges that Depp pushed her onto the bed in the second bedroom, pushed her face down onto the mattress, and that he put his knee on her back and other foot onto the bed frame while punching her in the back of the head repeatedly. She alleges that the foot on the bed frame, caused the bed frame to splinter or break, words that she used interchangeably in the UK and the US litigation. She then states that she can't remember what happened next, only that she remembers some time passing and her friend Rocky Pennington coming into the room to find her on the floor. Here's the issue I noticed when listening to Heard's testimony on this specific incident. The bed, quite simply, could not have broken in the manner that Amber describes.
Will you please tell the jury what this is?
That's the bed that Johnny broke.
Well, on top of me.
Okay, so now we have the photo that identifies the bed itself. Let's take a closer look at that and see if we can't see some more information about it, or at least get a little bit more context, okay? Okay, so she's identified the photo. So this is what's in evidence in the Fairfax Circuit Court trial. This is also the photo that was introduced in the UK trial. Now this photo tells us a bunch of information about the bed itself. One, we know that this is the foot of the bed. We know that from a photo I'll show you in a second here. You also know that this bed is constructed via essentially timbers. Most beds you will see will be a 3/4 inch rail that will meet directly into a post and footboard. Instead, this appears to be a platform bed using rustic timbers to give a chunkier feel to it. We also know this because Amber describes it as being very, very heavy, which you'll hear a little bit later. But let's see if we can't learn any more information about this particular photo. So, here's something that we discovered in the Fairfax Circuit Court case, and it was discovered incident to various motions to compel and motions for sanctions regarding the metadata that was released. The metadata indicates that this photo was taken on December 16th of 2015. Now you'll remember that Amber described the events as taking place December 15th in the evening. This photo was not taken until the very next day. Now let's take a closer look at the bed. This photo was taken from the virtual tour that was provided when Johnny was selling that condo. So from this photo, you can actually get a really good idea of the size of the bed and where we're talking about. So down the sides, you can see that those are the timbers. Timber comes, another timber meets, and another timber wraps back. You can actually see here the chunk is still existing. Odd though, this chunk in this photo appears to extend all the way to the edge, whereas the last photo, the chunk looked like it was limited to this area. I'm not sure that's relevant, but it's something worth noting. So one of the questions that I had when I first saw this photo is whether this timber itself was a faux or a fake timber, whether someone had basically created the look of a live edge by creating something that looked like this and then wrapping it to bring it down to the bottom. So a 3/4 inch piece and a 3/4 inch piece. Now, upon further inspection of the photo itself, you kind of learn that there's no way that's actually possible. And let me describe why. So, blowing that photo up and then adding a little bit of light to it just to enhance the brightness so we can see a little clearer. You can see that this here, see these dark areas? These dark areas are end grain. Wood, when you look at it straight on like this is running with the grain. This is the end grain of the wood. The end grain of the wood, when you apply a stain, becomes far, far, far darker than the grain itself. The reason why is the grain pores run this way. When you think of a tree is growing up like that. When the tree is growing up, everything in here, all of the nutrients have to pass up and down. That's what forms the grain structure in wood. So when you cut a piece of wood right across the top and expose the end grain, you are exposing all of those cellular grain structures that pass nutrients from the earth all the way to the leaves. And when you put stain on those, the stain absorbs faster and heavier into those areas, which results in this extra darkening. So now that we know about the bed, let's see what happens, or let's see what Amber alleges happens in order to cause that break. Okay, so now that we have an idea of what the bed looks like, let's get into the specifics of Amber's allegations. Now, this is the statement that she made in the UK trial. We're going to walk through the relevant portions here. At this point in time, you can see from the top that she is alleging Johnny had pushed her onto the bed and got on top of her. Okay? Now, what you can see is that she is saying that his whole weight was on me, and he put his knee on my back and his other foot on the bed frame. This is the part I want you to focus on. Knee on the back, other foot on the bed frame. Okay? At the same time, he was punching me in the head, screaming over and over so loudly right in my ear how much he hated me. The bed frame splintered, and that's all I remember. She goes on to say that she doesn't remember anything else until her friend Rocky Pennington comes in the room and she's sitting on the floor after Johnny had left. So that's Amber's statement in the UK trial. This is what the UK court basically found her claim to be. This was taken from one of Johnny's responses to either discovery responses or to the UK court's recitation of Amber's allegations. At this point in time, let's take a look at this. All right. So, fight continued on the bed. Claimant got on top of Ms. Heard and placed his knee on her back, similar statement, and other foot on the bed frame while repeatedly punching her in the head. Claimant screamed, we're not sure how we're going to edit this one. I don't think I'm going to leave the profanities in for this particular video. I bleeping hate you. Over and over again. The bed frame splintered under the weight of the pressure of the claimant's boot. The bed frame splintered under the weight of the pressure of the claimant's boot. So the UK court is basically saying, per Amber, that the reason why the bed splintered was because Johnny's boot had exerted so much pressure that it caused the timber to actually splinter. Okay? So that's the UK court's recitation of Amber's claim. Now, curiously, Whitney, Amber's sister, also gave a statement. Now, hers is a little bit more interesting. In Whitney's statement, she says that when she got there, the bed was disheveled. She noticed it had a very heavy wood frame, which also supports our understanding that this was a solid timber framed bed, and noticed that it had splintered and there was a chip in the wood. I like this word. We're going to focus on that in a minute here. It's going to make a lot of sense soon. There was blonde hair and blood stuck in the splinter on the bed frame. Now that part, I'm wondering if you guys are asking questions yourselves. It might be explained away by Amber's statement of being leaning against the bed when Rocky got in there, but it seemed kind of odd to me. So now that we know what the allegations are, let's do this. Let's hear Amber say them in her own words in the Fairfax trial at Thursday's hearing. Okay? This is her description of the incident, specifically focused on that particular time when she is saying that the bed splintered under Johnny's weight. So let's take a look at this.
I was sitting on the edge of the bed, on the carpet of the floor against the broken frame of the bed. And there was a low-lying bed with a really thick wooden frame. And it was broken from his boot trying to get a purchase on it while he was...
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
I could feel it.
Overruled. Thank you. Please continue.
I was there for it. And while he was on top of me, I could feel that. I could feel him trying to get balance. I could feel him slipping. I could hear it. I don't know how I got off the bed. I don't know what happened to me from the time I stopped hearing myself scream. I don't know what happened to me. It's a really weird feeling because next thing I remember is leaning against the broken part of the bed and on the carpet, and my friend saying, "Oh my God, oh my God."
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sustained. Okay.
Okay, so that's the relevant part of the testimony for our purposes. Now, the thing that I found curious about that one, well, one, let's go ahead and clear up the fact that Amber testified there that her head was leaning against the bed, which might explain why a blonde hair was in the chip on the bed. But the most interesting part of that testimony is her testimony saying that she could feel it, that she knew and that she was there. The reason why that's interesting to me is because, one, her face was down per her own testimony. Her testimony was that Johnny was pushing her head so far into the covers that she was muffled. She felt like she couldn't breathe, and his whole weight was on her body. Remember the statement earlier, knee on the back and foot on the bed. Yet she testifies that she can feel him squirming around, or at least trying to gain purchase on the bed. Now, this is important because it also gives you an understanding of where Johnny's boots are, and how Amber reaches this conclusion that the boots somehow caused the break in the bed. We'll just have to explore it. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to actually do a little baby mock-up of this bed, and I'm going to explain to you why, given the bed's construction and the description that Johnny's boots actually caused that break, that this testimony is, for lack of a better term, complete BS and not possible. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a little mock-up of Johnny's bed. Now, this is done with 4x4 pine, which is a little bit smaller, but still the same material that was Johnny's bed. I could tell it was pine. You can tell it was pine because if you look back at those photos, you can see the width between the grain. That gives you an indication that it's a softwood rather than a hardwood. A lot of hardwood you will see will have tighter grain patterns. So now with these timbers, what you're going to see is that in order to get the timber, they generally have to cut almost a full tree. The larger the timber, the larger the tree. But generally, they're all going to be this particular pattern where you're going to have the circle, the very center of the tree, towards the center of the timber. Now, this is relevant when we start talking about how this is alleged to have occurred. So we have our two lengthwise posts and then the footboard of the bed. Now, per Amber's testimony, if this is the mattress where my hand is right here, then Johnny's feet are here on the footboard trying to, in her words, gain purchase. Now, the interesting thing about the gaining purchase is it kind of illustrates the problem here. Grain, as we discussed earlier, runs this way. These are very tight concentric tight cellular structures. Imagine if they were, let's say, call them straws. If everything here was a straw running in this direction, and let's say that you wanted to divide those straws, you would actually have to put something in between those straws and wiggle and pry your way in. Now, the reason why that's important here is because with this type of wood, and actually with all woods, you need something sharp to get in between those grains. If you put a blunt object up against here, it's just not going to do anything. For anyone who's ever hammered pine, you know that you're going to dent the pine before you ever break it off because you're hitting it with a blunt object. Let's illustrate what Amber was describing as Johnny doing. So, now that we've got it situated this way, what we're looking at is mattress over here, Johnny allegedly over here. Now, I don't have any fancy boots, but I do have work boots. So, we're going to try and illustrate what it is that Amber's saying with a Timberland Pro. So we have our work boot. Now, you can see as the work boot goes in, there's no way, given the size of that work boot, that you're going to get anywhere enough pull, period. It just slides right off. There's nothing it's ever going to catch. It's because the tip of the work boot, no matter how sharp it is not sharp enough to cut into that grain structure. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's a leather-soled, skinny shoe, unless it's one of those super spy boots that has a kick-out blade, it ain't going to get in between that grain. All right? Let me show you the only way that you can get into that grain. With a sharp object, like, for example, a knife. If I wiggle a knife in here, you can see that I can wiggle back and forth, and I have what Amber was describing, purchase. There is no grip that I can get, either with my hand or a boot, that does anything to dig into that grain that would cause that type of fracture. So let me do one more little thing to show you something. So here's what we've done. We've taken away the long rails, leaving only the footrest. The only fathomable way that I can see that particular break happening, as described by Amber Heard, is something like this. The sharp knife is the only thing that can penetrate the grain in order to cause that split. Sharp knife and leverage is the only thing that can make that pop. So when you're looking at wood like this, when you have grain running this way, you see this? That type of break is caused by this. Sharp knife, leverage. And I'll tell you why that makes me very curious. This is why Amber Heard's testimony bothered me that day. Because what I saw was this type of damage, which is what's reflected on that particular bed. That damage is caused by a knife. Now, I'm not saying what this is. I'll leave that for the judge, the jury, and the trial attorneys to decide if they want to argue that point. But to me, I don't know. What do you guys think? This community has been fantastic to me. I've very much loved being a part of it. I wish to continue being a part of it. And the only way I can do that is by your help.
So I think that by now it's safe to assume that indeed a penknife was used to damage the bed, to stage the photo basically. So yeah, like I said, I'm checking all the time social media, I'm checking YouTube, I'm checking TikTok and all these other platforms for information really. And I came across another YouTuber called Colonel Kurtz. This was an interview that she made in March of 2021 with, it might seem like it's unrelated, but bear with me. So the interview that she conducted was with Paula, who used to be Marilyn Manson's personal assistant at the time that Johnny and Amber were in a relationship. Now, long story short, the video is quite long because mostly it goes into detail into Marilyn Manson rather than Johnny and Amber. However, we do know that Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp, they were really close friends, and they were even at the time of Johnny's and Amber's relationship. And Paula, she was the assistant, the personal assistant of Marilyn at the time of Johnny's and Amber's relationship. She's not anymore the PA, but she used to be at the time. And they actually touched the subject of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And what Paula had to say, I think it's very, very telling, if I'm honest with you. According to Paula, she met Johnny Depp in mid 2012 perhaps, when Johnny Depp was meeting up with Marilyn Manson, and they got into a conversation about the PA's cat and so on and so forth, so that's the first time when they met. Now, Paula and Marilyn Manson, they attended Johnny Depp's Thanksgiving dinner in 2015. You remember that? That's a dinner that was brought in court by Amber, saying that Johnny was aggressive towards her on that evening after everybody else left, right? So Paula and Marilyn Manson, they also attended the dinner, the Thanksgiving dinner, and I will touch that a bit later on. Now, Paula's impression of Amber is very not so nice, okay? So it seems that in their first months of their relationship, Johnny and Amber, they were on a set. I think that there was some kind of a concert and Amber was backstage with Johnny and Paula was there as well to witness it. And Paula got the impression even from the beginning of their relationship that Amber seemed to be very controlling of Johnny. And she seemed to just want Johnny's attention only on her. And whatever Johnny was doing, she was just all over him, grabbing him and, hugging him and being, very controlling over him and over his behavior. And in Paula's words, it seemed that she was monopolizing Johnny. So it seemed like she was suffocating him right from the get-go. And she was really controlling over his time, and she only wanted him to spend time with her and not give attention to anybody else apart from her. And we know that this is an issue we have seen throughout the years with Amber, so this kind of just confirms what we already knew. Now, on Thanksgiving dinner in 2015, Paula found it very, very strange that no one of Johnny Depp's family was part of that dinner. So you had Amber, you had Marilyn Manson, you had Marilyn Manson's PA, Paula, then you had Johnny Depp there as well, then you also had Amber's sister, I believe, you also had Amber's parents, her mom and dad, and you also had Amber's friends, including Rocky Pennington. So basically, everyone on Amber's side was at the Thanksgiving dinner, but nobody from Johnny Depp's side was at the same dinner, which is very, very telling, you guys, because you know, in aggressors, in a DV relationship, they are doing everything that they can possibly to isolate their victims from their friends and family, and we can kind of see that. Now, during Thanksgiving dinner, there was a point in time when Johnny left the table because he was in conversations over the phone about his mom, Betty Sue, who was really ill at the time, and Johnny Depp didn't really enjoy the dinner, mainly for this reason, because he seemed like he was really worried about his mom. Yet Amber, on the other hand, she didn't really seem to empathize with him, to sympathize with him in any way possible. She just seemed to enjoy her evening. She wasn't really supportive of him, especially knowing that Betty Sue was ill, and she just carried on with her evening, having fun with her friends, drinking, you know, all these kind of things. So again, it didn't look like a supportive wife to her husband, especially knowing that his mom was not feeling well. So that was very, very strange to Paula when she witnessed it. And also, she mentioned another thing which made her really, really uncomfortable. There was a point where Johnny, he went to the mezzanine level talking on the phone. They were all of the other ones, they were sitting at the table downstairs. And Paula was kind of in between Amber and her dad. Now, that's when she felt really uncomfortable, because Amber and her dad, they were trying to engage her in conversations, but it seemed like they were hitting on her, and that just made Paula really uncomfortable, and she just didn't want to engage in a conversation because it felt like really it was something of a sensual nature, which is very disturbing if you think that it was Amber and her dad and they both had this kind of language and behavior. So I don't even want to imagine, I don't even want my mind to take me to Amber's childhood and Amber's relationship with her dad, if you get what I mean. So I'm not going to get into the details because it just seems so disgusting imagining these kind of things. Another thing that Paula, I don't know if she witnessed or she was being told by someone else. Oh yeah, I think it was. There was a mechanic at one point who was working on Amber's car, and I think that the mechanic gave a statement in the UK trial. Now this mechanic, he was fixing Amber Heard's car, and at one point he was in the car and Amber was in the car as well, and again she made these remarks to him like, oh, we are in the car alone and you never know what can happen, you are alone with me in the car, and again kind of sensually hinting to him, and that made him uncomfortable as well, and he just really just wanted to get out of there, honestly. So again, you can kind of see that Amber, she's flirting and she's hitting on people, even though she's clearly by this point in a relationship with Johnny, so she doesn't really pull back. So again, this takes me back to Johnny and the jealousy issue and Amber making it an issue. I think that if Johnny Depp would witness this kind of situations, it would make him jealous, and it would make him even more jealous, because which partner wouldn't be jealous when you witness or you hear about your partner hitting on people and flirting with other people? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't sit well with me, if I'm honest with you. During the same Thanksgiving dinner, Amber even bragged about how much she can drink and about all the boxes of wine that she orders, which I might add, the wine is paid for by Johnny Depp. If you remember, there was someone who took the stand who spoke on Johnny's behalf about the finances, and he said that Johnny would spend around $100,000 a year on wine alone. And you remember that Amber liked the expensive wine, which was like maybe $6,000 or $1,000 a bottle. So she's bragging to Paula, Marilyn Manson's ex-assistant, that she orders loads of boxes of wine and she's not even paying for these boxes out of her money, but Johnny Depp is paying for these boxes, and we already know from the financial information we received during the trial. The audacity on this woman, oh my god, There was another instance where Paula, she really got the impression that Amber, she's kind of the activist and the feminist, and there was a point during Thanksgiving dinner that Paula, she was serving Marilyn Manson dinner, so she basically put the food on his plate and she served it to him because she knew what Marilyn Manson likes to eat, and they were really friends as well, and she just wanted to, you know, put that plate of food in front of him, just like so many other do it, without causing any issues whatsoever. However, on this occasion, Amber really had an issue with this. She told Paula that why she's serving Marilyn Manson, that she can do it, that he can do it himself, she doesn't need to put dinner in his plate, and all these kind of things. So kind of making it seem like, oh, you're a woman, you're serving a man. Oh no, you don't need to do that because the man can serve himself, right? So that's the vibe that Paula was getting from that interaction. The last thing that I want to touch on Paula and what she said she witnessed is in the same Thanksgiving dinner in 2015, Paula, she was having her dinner and she really thought that the food was amazing. So she expressed that the food is amazing. But before she expressed that the food was amazing, Amber, actually, she spoke at length during the dinner that she was the one who cooked the food, who made the dinner. And when Paula was saying how amazing and how tasty the food was, one of the security guards of Johnny Depp's was asking her how he was, you know, how is she feeling and things like that. And then, very interestingly, Johnny Depp's security guard said that it wasn't Amber who cooked the dinner, it was actually him who cooked the dinner. So Paula found this really weird, because why would Amber talk about at great length about her cooking and making this dinner for Thanksgiving when in fact it was the security guard who cooked the dinner? Again, you are taking credit for something you didn't do, and what's the purpose? To get even more attention, to get even more recognition, and you take something somebody else did and you say it as your own. Again, guys, I'm circling back here to Dr. Shannon Curry and her diagnosis of Amber Heard, and it just fits perfectly, if I'm honest with you. From my point of view, her diagnosis fits perfectly in this situation. Now, I want to go and talk about Whitney Henriquez and her testimony, but I'm not going to go into a great amount of detail because I'm just gonna drag it out. There are just a few points that I want to make. We already know that Whitney Henriquez, she testified saying that she did see Johnny, you know, punching Amber on the staircase incident, and Johnny got to Whitney as well. And it's very interesting the way that Whitney Henriquez is describing all these instances and all the violence from Johnny Depp. It seems very rehearsed to me, just like it seemed rehearsed from Amber Heard's friends as well. This testimony of Whitney seems very rehearsed, and it's just the way that she talks. Well, not only just the way that she talks, but also the way that she talks as well. It sounds exactly like Amber would be talking. And if you remember, I touched this previously in one of my other videos, and I said that even though you are relaying the same story, everybody speaks in a different way and everybody expresses themselves in a different way. So you can't really relay the story identically like the other person would, simply because you are not the same person. So you would relate differently. Although the core of the story stays the same, the way you retell the story is quite different from the other person retelling the same story, right? But to me, in this instance, it seems that Whitney is mirroring and echoing exactly what Amber is saying. However, she does make a mistake here, because she practiced the story, they practiced the story, but Whitney is describing the staircase incident very differently to the way that Amber is describing the staircase incident. And in both instances, it doesn't make any sense. Because now now Amber is saying that Whitney was with her back to the stairs and Johnny was in the middle and Amber was on the other side, and then she got scared that Johnny is going to punch Whitney and she will go down the stairs because she remembered instantly the Kate Moss incident. Now, Whitney is describing differently. She's saying that she was in between Amber and Johnny, so according to her, Johnny's back is to the stairs. Again, it doesn't make sense. This is where the story contradicts from her and from Amber. However, I'm not gonna, describe it in words what I mean to tell you. I'm actually going to refer to a video from a body language expert and behavior analyst, and he actually did the graphs where he showed exactly how Amber's and Whitney's testimony look animated, if you will. So it's kind of a rendition and the way that they describe, and you will see clearly that it's just impossible the way they describe it. Now let's play that clip for you.
In the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial, the most damaging testimony for Johnny's case so far is Amber's sister Whitney. More precisely, the part where she claims that she saw Johnny smacking Amber's face repeatedly. But you're about to find out why her recollections make no sense. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. This statement is about the staircase event when Amber was allegedly defending Whitney from being thrown down the stairs. What makes Whitney's statement so critical is that she's the only witness that claims to have seen Johnny hitting Amber, because nobody else has been able to claim that. And this is a clip where she makes that statement. Make sure you also pay attention to Johnny's reaction, because it will be important later on.
But by that time, Johnny had already grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me.
Every witness that Amber's attorneys have called to testify just repeat the same claims. Johnny's intoxication, withdrawal, or alcohol, but no actual physical violence. But Whitney's unique statement stands out for very precise details that very quickly reveal contradictions. Like other channels such as My Paul and The Signor have stated, when you compare Whitney's recollections with Amber's from the same event, they just don't match. Make sure you picture the scene in your head.
I'm at the top of the stairs with my back to the stairs, and that's when Johnny runs up the stairs. And I'm facing Amber. He comes up behind me, strikes me in the back.
And now listen to Amber talking about the exact same moment. Again, picture the scene in your head.
All of a sudden put herself in between Johnny and I. Her back was to the staircase. Johnny swings at her back to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I don't even wait.
Well, the first thing that you might have noticed is that the two sisters speak in different emotional ways about this. But let's focus first on what they said. Whitney says that she's on top of the stairs, facing Amber, and Johnny runs up to her. Then, quote, strikes her in the back. Pay attention to the words used because they will be important later on. Now, Whitney herself stated that the times that she was sober were rare, so that could explain how she couldn't sense someone running up to her. Running up the stairs is no easy task, and it's noisy. You will have more than enough time to react. But according to Amber, quote, all of a sudden, Whitney put herself in between Johnny and I. But wait, wasn't Whitney in danger of falling down the stairs? How can that happen if she's between two people? So Amber, in less than 10 seconds, exposed herself, saying that Whitney was between them, and thanks to some very weird physics, she also was in danger of falling down the stairs. You know that if you commit perjury, you go to jail, right? Now, there's something even more interesting. Let's listen to Amber's recollections of the same events 6 years ago. As usual, picture the scene in your mind.
He was about to push my sister down the stairs. She was attempting to break us up. I am protective over my baby sister. When he laid hands on her, I don't know what I did, but I know I jumped in between the action.
Say what? Wait a minute.
He was about to push my sister down the stairs. She was attempting to break us up.
I'm at the top of the stairs with my back to the stairs. He comes up behind me, strikes me in the back.
He was about to push my sister down the stairs.
He comes up behind me, strikes me in the back.
Now, I'm gonna say something that must be illegal, but here it goes anyway. Even if this was expressly forbidden by the judge, the jury should watch these comparisons back to back. Because with so much fluff of pre-recorded and boring witnesses, I doubt they will have energy left to make these connections. To make things even worse for Amber, listen how she recalls how did they get into that position in the first place.
All of a sudden put herself in between Johnny and I. She just threw herself like in the line of fire or whatever. She just all of a sudden was there and was trying to get Johnny to stop.
Yeah, I didn't tell you to picture the scene in your mind because you wouldn't be able to. All that she does is gesturing, stuttering, and gives no details whatsoever about anything. She doesn't mention Johnny running up the stairs, but she does mention that Whitney was trying to make Johnny stop. Stop what? Amber isn't even precise about this supposed aggression. Now, back to Whitney's testimony. There are more than a few signals that suggest her statement was heavily practiced and rehearsed beforehand. Notice the time she takes to answer the following question.
I'm going to take you to April 21, 2016, Amber's 30th birthday party. Were you present for that?
I was.
Can you please describe to the jury what you observed that night?
It was her 30th birthday, so we wanted to make it, really special.
She barely needed time to think the answer. Obviously, this happened when it was Amber's attorney asking the questions. You notice that the time between the question and the answer is so small that they must have rehearsed her testimony beforehand. When you listen to a question that refers to a moment in time, your brain first has to jump to that moment, assess the memories and emotions associated to that moment, and finally organize how are you going to answer. If you notice that someone answers this quickly, it's because they have already done this process. They have practiced. Why is it relevant to know that she could have practiced her testimony before taking the stand? Because that's when we go back to the first clip, when she was saying that she saw Johnny hitting Amber. And you can't help but notice something interesting with Amber's attorney at that precise instant.
But by that time, Johnny had already grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me.
Yeah, Elaine Bredehoft, part of Amber's legal team, was nodding repeatedly, almost enthusiastically, as Whitney recalled the events. She looks like a mom at a school presentation that nods and even moves her mouth when they see her son on the stage after practicing so much at home. That's the body language of someone confirming that someone is acting as directed. And what a coincidence that it was this part of the testimony so damaging for Johnny. And speaking of Johnny, I told you to pay attention to his reaction because throughout the whole trial he has kept a calm and collected attitude. As you can see, this really caught his attention, and for a very good reason. It's no secret that he helped Whitney overcome what Amber has been doing to her through all these years. So you can imagine how he could feel looking at her saying this. If the smack in the face had really happened, Johnny would have been the first to expect that Whitney was going to reveal that. But he was actually surprised because his eyebrows even went up for a brief instant. The only explanation of Johnny reacting this way, actually surprised, is that the smacking never happened. He never hit Amber in the face. It must have a truly heartbreaking moment for him to realize that he has been surrounding himself with so many toxic personalities for years. But this is about to get even more messy with the fact that Jennifer Howell, a woman who claims to be friends with Whitney, recently surfaced online. Howell's declaration highlighted Johnny and Amber's staircase fight and that infamous finger injury. Howell claims that Whitney told her that Amber was violent and abusive towards Johnny, the exact opposite of what she said in court.
When Whitney took the stand and when Whitney was on the stand and she was talking and describing and all these kind of things, I got the feeling that she seems quite scared of Amber, and she kept on looking back at her, kind of like to confirm that Whitney is saying it right and Whitney is doing what Amber wants, and she's maybe kind of thinking did I say it wrong? Is it okay? Do you agree with that? Or are you happy with the way I'm saying it? This kind of thing. So basically constantly looking for recognition from Amber and for confirmation from Amber that yeah, indeed she's doing a great job. And again, this kind of shows me that Amber is really controlling of her sister as well, and of what her sister is saying there. Hi guys, Editing Cat here. I forgot to mention something about Whitney Henriquez. I just wanted to point out that in her testimony, Whitney Henriquez also mentioned that Johnny Depp carries a pocket knife in his pocket all the time, every single day. And I think that this goes right back to all of the Amber Heard's team of lawyers and witnesses kind of checking everything that is being said online, and now they inserted this pocket knife situation of Johnny Depp carrying it all the time to kind of emphasize the fact that it was Johnny whose pocket knife was on the bed, that it was damaged during the argument that Johnny and Amber had. You remember, as previously, Law and Lumber was pointing out, and he even made a demonstration of. So I think that this story of the pocket knife is the first time that it was mentioned in court, and it was for this precise reason, because Johnny Depp's team and Camille Vasquez specifically pointed out to Amber that that was a pen knife on the bed, which was allegedly damaged by Johnny and the boot. Also, I really found at some point that Whitney was looking really guilty, not only when she was on the stand, but when she was in the gallery after she finished her testimony. She looked guilty. She looked like she felt guilty because of the lies that she said on the stand. And I have to tell you guys, I really think that she was lying about a lot of things on the stand. Cross-examination of her, in my opinion, was very weak, if I'm honest with you. It was short, as in it was around 18 minutes, but I found it very weak, and I found that there were a lot of questions which were not asked, which I kind of expected the questions to be asked, including Jennifer Howell and what she confided to Jennifer Howell, and this was not asked, which maybe you could argue that it could bring an objection of hearsay, third party, this kind of things. But again, I felt like it was really weak and they could have done better. I mean, this is how it came across to me. He kind of went in circles and he didn't really get to a conclusion by the end of it. Maybe they were trying to show that Whitney is willing to do anything for her sister. She's protective of her sister. And even though Whitney says that she witnessed the staircase incident and injuries on Amber, she still tried to help their relationship. So kind of trying to highlight that there was no injury and no aggression from Johnny Depp. Otherwise, she wouldn't try to help them work out through their relationship. I'm not sure, but I wasn't really happy with the cross-examination on that, if I'm honest with you. Now, you guys, did you notice that when Whitney Henriquez took the stand, she coordinated outfits with Amber? I noticed that. So when she was on the stand, Whitney, she was wearing like a beige, sort of light brown blazer, and she also had a black skirt on. Amber, in comparison, in contrast, she had a beige light brown dress on, and she had a black blazer on. So that was coordinated, in my opinion. Amber also had her necklace on display. I'm not sure I've seen the necklace on display before. And Whitney also had the necklace on display. Again, I find that very weird. And then also, after Whitney took the stand, she was every day in the courtroom, in the gallery. And again, I tend to believe that these were all PR moves. I think that the PR team told Amber, look, you need to show that you have a great relationship with your sister, so let's coordinate your outfits. Ask her to be in the courtroom to show her support for you, because you guys get along so well, you love each other so much that she's just supportive towards you throughout this trial. I think that was the case here. I think that it was a PR move to make Amber and Whitney's relationship look genuine and full of love without aggression, like Johnny said on the stand and like so many other people said as well. So I think that was a PR move, and it's very interesting to see that when they go talk about loving a sister relationship, right? But when they come to court in the morning before the court starts, when they get out of the car, even when they go in the car after the court finishes, you see that Whitney is going in the back of the car, whereas Amber is going in the front of the car. So if they have a really loving relationship and they love each other so much, why are they not sitting in the same place in the car? Why is Amber not sitting in the back with her sister, since they have a great relationship and they love each other? I think that that is very weird to me, because I feel like if you have a loving relationship with your sister, you want to sit next to your sister, right? And you want to kind of thank your sister for showing you this support by engaging and interacting with her whilst you guys are in the same space. You know what I mean? I just find this very odd, if I'm honest with you. Also, what I found funny was actually Christina Randall, who pointed this out in one of her videos, and there is a clip out there from Friday when they had the closing arguments and they sent the jury for deliberation. There is a clip circulating online about Amber receiving flowers from fans.
Now, if you've made it this far in my video, you definitely deserve a laugh, and boy, are we about to laugh. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few weeks ago, it was all over the internet that Amber Heard fired her PR team and hired a new one because she didn't like how she looked in the media. And they have definitely been working overtime. And if you guys haven't been following all of the case stuff, you may not know that Johnny Depp has mega fans that are outside the courthouse every single day. And every day when he shows up, they cheer like crazy and they boo like crazy when Amber shows up. However, something unexpected happened on Friday when Amber Heard left the courthouse. She left and it seemed like fans were cheering and gave her flowers. Check this out.
Amber Heard leaving court in the car behind me. She's been subjected, we can see her there just waving to some of her fans who are outside. She's been subjected to vitriol throughout this trial. Here she is, a fan just wandering up to give Amber Heard some flowers. This is the first time we've seen her. How are you feeling, Amber?
After I saw that, I thought, no way. How could this be possible? First of all, one fan gave her flowers, okay, but the cheering in the background, that's not what I've been seeing at all. So I searched around and I found a video of the other angle. Look at this. You guys, it was a PR stunt. People are booing, and the truck turned around and stopped in that one spot like they knew they were going to do this. Like, okay, pull out. We're going to stop right here. Somebody's going to hand us flowers, and we're going to edit cheers over it, because look at the other view again.
Amber Heard leaving court in the car behind me. She's been subjected. We can see her there just waving to some of her fans.
Oh my gosh, you guys, she will stop at nothing. I'm dying. No, but watching Amber's story snowball over the years, where it started off as just this, and then it's gone to this, and this, and this, and this, and now, next thing you know, she's on the stand testifying that she wakes up in the middle of the night screaming.
The rumor goes that, this was a stunt paid by Amber Heard's side just to show her that she's getting support from the fans, just as Johnny Depp is getting support from the fans. So, yeah, Amber Heard's PR team are working so very hard to try and make her look better. Are they succeeding? The last point I'm gonna touch in the video is about the monster situation and Johnny's nickname, what Amber Heard is calling him and what all her friends are calling him and what he himself calls himself as the monster. I think that this started from Amber. Even if Rocky Pennington said in her testimony that Johnny Depp was the first one to say he's a monster, I don't think that's true. I think that Amber was the first one to say that Johnny Depp is a monster when he would leave, and during in the middle of an argument he would leave, he would split, and she didn't like that and she called him the monster. And if she kept on calling him the monster when he had verbal arguments with her, and when he split, when they were in the middle of an argument, it kind of conditioned him as well to think of himself or that side of himself as the monster, and that's why he would call himself a monster as well. But this kind of feels like Amber Heard, if I'm honest with you. It kind of smells like Amber Heard and not Johnny Depp. And I think that Amber Heard was the one who told all her friends that he's the monster, and he's like a monster when he does this or when he does that. And it's possible that she even told her friends that Johnny called himself a monster before she started calling him a monster. So again, we don't know, because everything that Amber Heard's friends are saying is coming from Amber, not from them witnessing anything. So again, this is very telling. But I think that Amber Heard was the one who started with the monster, and she kind of conditioned Johnny by repeating over and over again, you know, the psychological effects that a DV relationship has on you. And again, a part of control from the aggressor. The way that I see it, they will try to do anything and everything to make you seem like the worst person possible, like everything is your fault, like it's your fault that they are being aggressive towards you, because look what you made me do. I did this because of you. If you wouldn't have said that to me, I wouldn't have hit you. You know, all these kind of things that aggressors in DV relationships do. And yeah, I think that with this I'm going to end today's video. So today, as I'm filming this, is Tuesday. The day in court didn't start yet, but today we are waiting for the verdict in the case. Let's see who wins, if any one of them will do. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This will be my last video in terms of covering Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial. And I have a playlist available where you can catch up on everything if you want to. I also have a Patreon. Over there we talk about 18 plus things we can't talk about on YouTube. There are crime scene photos. I have also added on there the uncensored finger injury of Johnny Depp, because so far we've seen the censored version of it, and I can't really add the uncensored version on YouTube because of graphic details. And I also have a link on there where you can access the court documents if you so wish to do so. And there are three different tiers available. I will also give shout outs to the members in every single one of my videos. You will also get the video released 24 hours before it's actually published on the YouTube channel. So if you are interested, the link is on your screen and in the description down below. Also, please consider liking the video, as it really helps me and it shows support for the channel, and it really helps in, you know, in getting the channel seen on the YouTube platform. Also, if you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you do turn your notification bells on so you are notified of any new videos I upload. For now, thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!